Hey yo, welcome to the Italian Grand Prix in 2022 in Monza. This racetrack, as you can see, this is a picture from a helicopter of the whole racetrack. They call it the Temple of the Speed, and I think you can see why, right? Big straight, chicane added before it was straight. Another big straight before probably it was also straight. You have two slow corners, another big straight, some chicane here, okay. Yeah, left, right, left, another big straight, and then you have the Parabolica, one of the most famous corners in the F1 calendar. So, what to expect from this weekend? Actually, wait, if you can see this racetrack from the helicopter, you can see how it was the first layout, right? It was here, the pit lane. You would start, you would go all the way here, come down the bridge, you would go here, and then you would go around this round thing, and then you would go back again. Completely different of what it is. Here, the banking of these corners, by the way, made of concrete. It's incredible. It's really kind of difficult if you go there to try to stand on it, on the edge of the curb. But anyway, it's a racetrack where we saw very recently very strange stuff happening, right? Daniel Ricciardo winning last year. Team orders, Lando Norris was not allowed to overtake him, and he was holding back the other cars. And Daniel Ricciardo won. The previous year, we saw Pierre Gasly winning the race with the AlphaTauri, right, against Carlos Sainz with a chaotic thing, Leclerc accident and everything. We saw accidents, a lot of accidents, especially in the first lap, in the first corner. It's very easy to have some accidents. It's a narrow chicane, you come at high speeds, everybody tries to dive bomb, and only one car can go. We saw this coming out of the pit lane, and Max Verstappen deciding to have a ride on the Mercedes. Right, we saw Ericsson crashing at the end of the straight when the DRS in his car got stuck. He couldn't brake properly and he was spinning. We saw Kimi Raikkonen in the Ascari corners destroying his car in a free practice before the qualifying. We saw, this is in 2000 if I'm not mistaken, crash with the Jordans. You can see wheels flying. There was no cables. This is De La Rosa, I think, Spanish driver. You can see here Fisichella. People jump in the corner to avoid a huge accident and blah blah blah. So, a very high-speed racetrack. What should we expect from this weekend? Let's start with the news. First of all, I think this is not news, but this is something to comment, and I think it's kind of interesting. Be careful with the Williams of especially Alexander Albon. We saw in Imola with that huge straight, he was one of the most difficult drivers to overtake in the track. We saw the same thing in Spa, where he made a DRS train, and nobody could overtake him because the Williams was one of the quickest cars in a straight line. This racetrack has so many straight lines, it's gonna be a nightmare to overtake this car. So let's see if he can make it again and go further than P10, for example. What another thing, license at stake. Well, Domenicali asked about Colton Herta because he has 33 points in the super license for the F1 and it's required to have 40. But on the other hand, Colton Herta is everybody says he's a talented driver, has won races in IndyCar, so why wouldn't you let a race-winning young driver that Red Bull wants to add to the driver academy, for example, get into F1? Why do they have to go through F2 and F3, which is the big thing and the debate right now? Some team principals like Toto Wolff or Gunther Steiner said already that they are against Colton Herta jumping the regulation of the 40 points for the super license, even when he has 33 points. As long as you have more than 30 points, there is a gray area that allows this driver to be accepted as an exception from the FIA, which, being someone like a race winner like him, should be given the exception, right? That's my own opinion, at least. Anyway, so Domenicali says that like this is a big thing that is going around the super license, because right now the FIA designed the super license in a way where you can only get into F1 if or not only, but like mainly, if you go into F3 and F2 categories that are European, by the way, like the F1, for example, which is a European thing. They call it World Championship, but it's a European kind of championship. Just check out how many drivers you have in the grid, right? In the F1, from 20 drivers, 15 are European. But anyway, same like in F2, same in F3. They are very expensive, so unless you are sponsored by one of the teams in F1, which is mainly the case of probably the most people who are in F2 right now, like the ones that are fighting for the championship. So why would you, like, an F1 is right now trying to make themselves widespread, right? Like diversifying, opening the market to the USA, and bringing an American driver to the F1 would be interesting. You have one, Logan Sargent, in F2, which is from Williams, if I'm not mistaken. Williams Driver Academy. There you go, again, Driver Academy. But why wouldn't you allow someone from IndyCar jump into an F1? So there is a debate about this. I am kind of against not letting Herta, for example, go into F1, especially if Red Bull wants to bring him into F1. It's not like he's paying or he's buying his seat in a car, like happened in many years ago, like Yuji Ide or Alex Young or these kind of people. He's getting hired because of his ability. So anyway, this is something that is happening. In theory, it was expected to have an announcement this weekend, especially because AlphaTauri is also close to Monza. So there was an announcement expected. I don't think it will be. And this is actually a key to unlock the driver market that is coming around. Because if he doesn't arrive to AlphaTauri, Gasly will not go to Alpine, which means Alpine will have to be looking for other drivers. Probably could be Mick Schumacher or Daniel Ricciardo, even though Daniel Ricciardo already said that probably he will stay 1 year out and try to come in 2024. Mick Schumacher might follow the same path to try to wait for Audi. Audi might join Alfa Romeo right now, or Sauber. So they will bring another. They want a German driver there, so probably Zhou Guanyu would be out, or Bottas, and Mick Schumacher would be in the team. But anyway, there's a lot of things happening, and this is just one piece of the battle. Like I was saying, Audi might come to rescue, as they say, Mick Schumacher if he doesn't have a seat. They might be interested in him if he doesn't go to Alpine. Looks like Haas, Günther Steiner doesn't really want to keep Mick. Why would you have so much things happening when, especially lately, he is beating Kevin Magnussen on the races, right? In qualifying in Zandvoort as well, he beat Magnussen. Happened the same thing in Spa, but anyway, looks like he really doesn't want him for some reason. Let's move on into the race. What's gonna be the weekend like? We are gonna have very, very sunny weekend, except for today, as you can see, 60%. But for the rest, less than 20%, and temperatures 26, 17. Might be colder on Sunday. However, this is gonna be one stopping race, like almost all the races this. And what do we have? C2, C3, C4. So it's right in the middle. You can see many straight lines, and you might see track evolution, asphalt grip. Not very abrasive. There's not so much grip, which is surprising for a racetrack that is used all around the year. Anyway, tires stress a lot. You don't have a lot of downforce, so the tires will suffer a lot to try to make the car turn. Braking, very hard, like Canada, for example. You will have big braking points, big, not this one, but perhaps this one. Anyway, not so many corners, right? And that's what it is. 306 kilometers, 53 laps, 5.7 kilometers, lap record for Rubens Barrichello in 2004. So imagine how slow the cars have been since that time. Even though they say that these V6 engines, the cars are faster on the straight line. Still, the lap record during the race is from 2004. The prediction, what should we expect from this weekend? We do have some people that are gonna get penalized, and I did this before that was announced, so sorry for that. I knew that Carlos Sainz is rumored to penalize for the engine. It's kind of confirmed, so he will start from the back alongside Lewis Hamilton, who will have to change the engine as well. And there are other drivers that might be changing the engine too. So well, based on what we saw in Spa, for example, with a racetrack with long straights, we should be expecting the Red Bulls to dominate once again. So I'm expecting Verstappen to make the pole position and Verstappen and Perez to make 1-2 on the race. The Mercedes are not the fastest cars on the straights. However, they might be fighting with the Ferraris, as what we saw in Spa, for example, where Russell was kind of catching Sainz at the end of the race. So it might be something like this, especially if he starts from the back. And maybe these two should be swapped. Anyway, Alonso and Ocon, the Alpines, were kind of okay in Spa as well, so I put them there. And Gasly, home, he usually does it okay in this race. And like I mentioned, Alexander Albon, I think this is going to be the best bet so far. Let's see how the Williams behaves on those huge straight lines of Monza. Quiz time! This should be kind of easy, right? When did Sebastian Vettel win his first Grand Prix here in Monza? Everybody should know, as long as you're a F1 fan for some time, that Sebastian Vettel won the first Grand Prix here with the Toro Rosso. But when was it? Was it in 2007, 8, 9, 10 or 11? If you know it, put it in the comments. If you don't know it, you can also guess. You only have 5 options, make it easy. Don't look in Wikipedia or information, you should know it, it's fun. Try to answer it. Take it easy. See you either tomorrow after the qualifying or on Monday as per usual, commenting what happened during the weekend. And if there is any big news as well, we shall be there. Check my career mode in F1 Manager. I'm trying to bring McLaren back to the shining years. And nothing more. Stay tuned and see you this weekend.